Whether you operate one forklift or thousands, one location or hundreds, the new My Toyota customer portal can help you optimize your operation and material handling equipment. This one-stop, free-to-use platform is designed to help you take control of your information and make smarter decisions, all at the touch of a button. Register and access your data today at my.toyotaforklift.com. That's my.toyotaforklift.com.
Today's warehouse needs to keep inventory moving smoothly and quickly. Meet these challenges with on-demand warehouse labeling from Brother Mobile Solutions. Our mobile and industrial printers will help optimize your operations to achieve the speed, reliability, and durability your warehouse needs. With easy integration for existing warehouse technology, convenient portability, and upfront affordability, Brother Mobile Solutions is at your side when it comes to warehouse labeling. Try one for free today by visiting brothermobilesolutions.com/new warehouse or click the link in the show notes. That's brothermobilesolutions.com/new warehouse to try one for free today.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hey, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast, and I am here at Manifest 2023, and I'm in the CloudSort booth, joined by the founder of CloudSort and CEO, Derek Szopa, and he's going to tell us a little bit about CloudSort and how they're kind of tackling the middle mile and how this idea kind of came about as well. So Derek, thanks for joining me, and thanks for inviting me into your booth. How are you doing?
Very good. Thanks for having me, Kevin. It's great to be here at Manifest and having a chance to talk to you and the community about what CloudSort is doing. So if I could give a little bit of background on the company.
Sure,
So we've got really the genesis of what we're doing is we really wanted to rebuild or redesign how packaged goods were flowing from point of origin to the destination. And if you look at the way the industry is set up, there's a lot of friction and misaligned incentives.
Okay.
And by that I mean carriers, shippers, end consumers, they all rely on each other, want the same goal.
Right.
But there's this tension between the supply and the demand side is ever present, so it makes things very difficult. We want to enable a better ecosystem for everybody.
Right.
So we built this core product, this proprietary cloud-based sortation technology that allows really anybody, carrier or shipper, to group, route, and get shipments delivered in a really smart and seamless way.
Okay.
So really the mission or what we're doing is helping to define this middle mile space and help enable participation, whether you're a retailer, whether you're a shipper.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a little demo here of the CloudSort and how it works. I mean, it's super easy to use from a sortation standpoint, and I think it's incredibly intuitive too, from like a manager's dashboard perspective, but also the capabilities behind the scenes too, to enable you to utilize different carriers at kind of the flick of a switch, I guess, almost, I would say.
Sure.
But, we're talking about the middle mile here, and I think one of the interesting things, and we were kind of talking about this previously, right, was that, the conversation for so long was all about the last mile, focusing on, like, how do we make the last mile better, how do we disrupt the last mile, all these different things. And I feel like the middle mile is just starting, in the past year to get like a little spotlight on it. And I'm curious from your perspective, obviously you're focusing on the middle mile here with CloudSort. Like, why did you decide to go in that direction to attack the middle mile, and where did that kind of idea come from?
Sure. So part of it's just having a lengthy background in transportation.
Yeah.
I've always worked in kind of this middle mile space. So it's always been an interest, kind of passion of mine. I thought we were starting to think about some things that could really help with it. It's been, when we started the company, our view was that it was very nebulous, it's very complex, it wasn't well defined. So we thought we could, get involved with it and start to educate and also help deliver solutions. When a common misperception is when someone says sortation technology, oftentimes the mind goes to, hey, I need heavy industrial automation, a lot of sortation equipment. We're kind of the opposite of that, but we don't believe that to be true in every case.
Yeah.
It can be, middle mile can be very simple. So as you saw today, like a couple of scanners, some access to some information on a laptop, some very basic material handling equipment, and you can enable this middle mile connectivity in a very low cost way.
Right.
And because it's so low cost, simple, elegant, quick to deploy, you can place it anywhere. You can place it inside of an origin fulfillment center. You could place it close to a cluster of origin fulfillment centers. You could place it near a dense center of demand. It really depends on what our clients are looking for. It's very flexible, dynamic, scales up and down very nicely. So it's not, I think if there's an important takeaway, it's that like sortation, middle mile, it doesn't need to be overly complex. We're trying to take away complexity, not add to it.
Yeah, and I think that's so much the key, I think, to improving and evolving our logistics community, right? And being able to take the complexity out of it, even though there's probably some pretty complex things happening behind the scenes, but when it comes to like end user and having to use the solutions, we want it to be super simple. And I'll say, like, I did the sortation demo here in the booth, and I think it was less than 5 minutes. Like, I understood like how to do the sortation, which I think is great, especially when you're looking at having to bring in labor to do something like that. It's quick uptime for them to get used to it and be able to do it, but also accurately through the system that you built as well, which is very important. So talk to us a little bit about, because I think traditional sortation, we think that we're shipping something out as a shipper, and then it's getting injected into a sortation hub somewhere, and then it's potentially maybe going to another facility or multiple facilities along the way to its final destination. But with your technology, you're also enabling shippers to potentially actually do the sortations right within their facility and sortation like at the dock. So talk to us a little bit about that concept and how that kind of works, and also how it helps shippers kind of improve their overall shipping time.
Great. And I think it works for shippers as well as carriers. If thinking in terms of, like, every time you touch a package, how do you create as much value from that touch?
Yeah.
And maybe a good analogy is, if you can make a good first touch, like the first time that package is touched, make a really good intention, that works a lot like compound interest. So if you can invest early, great. If you can make a good decision early on, great. And the benefits of that compound through that entire delivery sequence. And often it's about building directly, eliminating steps. So as you touched on, being able to have that technology either inside of a fulfillment center or very close to it can certainly be beneficial. And it's actually quite simple. So now if you build direct, those packages don't necessarily need to be resorted multiple times as it's moving from, say, the West Coast to the East Coast. You can move, given a good design, you could run a group of package, a container direct from that fulfillment center into a final mile delivery station. From that point, it goes out for delivery. So that's kind of what when I talk about simplification, that's what I mean. Like, oftentimes it's just skipping steps. So reduces instances for defects, lowers cost, it's usually faster. Like, there's a lot of benefits that come with this.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, even talking to some of the guys here at the booth as well, like, I think one of the big things from a shipper perspective that kind of caught my attention was, being able to do that sortation earlier on in the chain, right? Like potentially like right at the dock where you're shipping from, also allows you to have more shipping time, right? Potentially. And I think that's a huge gain, because, oftentimes you have a certain cut time, right? Like 5 p.m., 6 p.m. cutoff, something like that. But that's because it needs to get to, whatever sortation point by a certain time. But if you're able to take that sortation like earlier on in the chain, then you're actually increasing your shipping window and the amount of time that you can have to fulfill those orders, which I think is a huge thing. So tell us a little bit about how CloudSort is giving flexibility to shippers, not only in gaining time, saving costs, but also flexibility in the types of carriers that they can utilize.
Certainly, and you brought up a great point, Kevin. So that ability you may want as a shipper to have, the system allows you to set that cut time to what works for you.
Right.
You can design that delivery experience, curate it to your client's needs, your needs, and I think that's really important. It's not forcing any one answer. So certainly it allows for that. You asked about being able to connect to different carriers.
Right.
The system doesn't really care. You as a shipper can have your own carrier relationships. We want to enable those to happen. I think if we're looking specific at the use case where the technology is on a fulfillment center's dock, because you're using technology as really a dock tool or a sortation assist, you're certainly able to build containers to these different final mile carriers that you would like to use, but you're also doing it in a very accurate way. So there's a lot of risk if you have multiple carriers and you send one carrier's package to a different carrier. There's probably a higher risk that package goes missing or lost.
Right.
But now because you're being very precise, it's creating a good customer experience and you're reducing defects.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's like a huge thing, certainly as shippers try to get better service levels all the time, right? Trying to accommodate their customers and get things faster. Being able to be more nimble and have more flexibility in like the number of carriers you can tap into is certainly something. If you were going to do it manually on your own would be a big undertaking, but being able to utilize like a easy to use platform like CloudSort and be able to quickly kind of make changes if you need to, I think is a big win for a shipper, definitely. And then for the customer in the end as well, it's a huge thing. So really interesting what you guys are doing with CloudSort, Derek, and I'm really appreciative of you joining me here and talking to me about it. I'm definitely looking forward to see the evolution of CloudSort and how you guys continue to grow. If people are interested in learning more about CloudSort, how can they do that?
CloudSort.com is probably the easiest. We have easy to see the different solutions that are available. You can reach out to us at any time. hello@cloudsort.com. If you want to send us an email, we'll get back to you very quickly. Aside from that, Kevin, it's really nice to talk to you and appreciate you stopping by and taking a look at the demo. Thank you.
Definitely, yeah. Thanks for having me, and we'll definitely put all the information at thenewwarehouse.com as well so people can easily find it. So Derek, thank you once again for your time today.
You've been listening to the New Warehouse Podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want more content from the New Warehouse, check out our new video series called All Hands on LinkedIn. Just search for the New Warehouse on LinkedIn and follow along.